I wanted to shed light on a very important topic that nobody talks about when you make your move to Canada. We're so engrossed in PPR ka aayega, then which city we should move to, the accommodation, flight tickets, packing, etc. And then when we finally move here, we just have two things in our head. One is job and another one is ghar. And in all this mess, we completely forget about one important thing, that is our health. No, I'm not talking about mental health here. I'm talking about our nutrition, physical health, a healthy lifestyle. After moving to Canada, अगर आपको भी कोई point पे realize हुआ हो that you're suddenly gaining weight, there's hair fall, there is sudden drop in energy, there's weakness, and even if you like us have been ignoring these symptoms, then please I request you to watch this video till the end and just give 5 minutes of your time and give it a thought. So health is the most ignored topic on social media when we discuss about moving to Canada. And there are two factors that are directly related to our health. First one is the food and second is our habits. When we moved to Canada, even we went through this roller coaster ride of health related changes. I observed and thought about it a lot, and based on my observation and study, there are 5 major shifts that we experience when we move from India to Canada. So these are the things that we experience. First is the habitual shock, the food culture shock, the no MRP concept. This one is a silent killer, let me tell you. Too many options, and the shift in the commercial and local culture. This one is the most ignored one. In the last segment, we will also talk about how to deal with each of these changes and what should be approached so that we build a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. So when I say sustainable lifestyle, it means a lifestyle which is easy to follow even 5 or 10 years down the lane. So let's talk about our first segment and discuss about these experiences or the shifts or the shocks that we experience. So all of us who are moving to Canada on PR, we can assume that we are already in our 30s or about to enter our 30s. So this obviously means that back in India, we had a decent standard of living. Like for us, we both had decent jobs. We were staying in Andheri. And for whoever who have stayed in Andheri, they know like having cooks is very common in every household, especially for a couple where both are working. So सुबह maid आ जाती थी. She used to make our tiffin, like home cooked food. हम लोग office ले जाते थे. शाम में भी she used to make chapati या सब्जी कट कर देती. So life was very sorted. When we come to Canada, we are suddenly cut off from all these luxuries. Suddenly we have to make our own meals. We have to make our breakfast, lunch, dinner, and we have to plan our groceries. इंडिया में कभी हम लोग ग्रोसरीज प्लान करके नहीं करते थे. ऑफिस से आते हुए ही कुछ सब्जी ले ली, कुछ सामान नहीं है वो कलेक्ट कर लिया. दैट वाज इट. वी नेवर प्लान्ड आवर ग्रोसरीज. So this is a major change in habit for us, and as a response to this change, first there is change in the number of our meals. We are so engrossed in finding our first house and our first job that we don't find time for 3 meals in a day. Slowly we develop habit of having 2 meals in a day, and then slowly we have 1 meal in a day, and that too in so odd hours. This was not a routine back in India. Secondly, as a response to the habitual change, हम bulk में खाना बनाने लगते हैं. Like पूरा bulk में सब्जी बना लिया and freezer में डाल दिया, and whenever we need it हम गर्म करके खा लेते हैं. जो भी हमारा मिड डे स्नैक्स हुआ करता था, जैसे खाखरा हो गया या वड़ा पाव या डोसा और any street foods that we used to have as midday binge, they slowly start get replacing with a large coffee and a large Coke or any of that sort. So we passively start developing these habits which are giving least priority to our health, and we start calling these habits as a normal lifestyle in Canada. And then the next point is a food culture shock. The food habits of the people of Canada are completely different. The way they have their breakfast or their meals like lunch and dinner is completely different, or rather we can say opposite to our Indian ways. So the grocery stores or the superstores are aligned in the way that they have their meals. For example, like if you go to find some breakfast items, you will have an entire aisle of cereals. Back in India, we used to have like cornflakes, wheat flakes, or max to max granola. But here you have an entire aisle filled with different types of cereals for breakfast. Then you have canned breakfast. You have canned beans, you have canned sweet corn, you have canned tuna. Walk into the any food section of superstore and you will find bread everywhere. So back in India, we used to have like white, brown, multigrain, yeah, max to max sourdough. But here the variety doesn't stop. You have so many variety of bread. You also have like ready to eat garlic breads. Then there are bagels, which everyone around you keeps talking about. And when it comes to milk, you have so many percentages of milk You have 2%, you have 3%, you have whole milk, you have skimmed milk. And when it comes to vegetable, they are nicely cut and packed in these cute boxes. And you have an entire different section of aerated drinks in the stores here. There is Coke, there are so many fruit drinks, there are iced teas in nice small cans and pack of 3, 6, 12, which everyone around you are picking up. And the list goes on and on. And the people around us, even our fellow Indian people, इनके carts इन सारी चीजों से भरे होते हैं. And then even we unconsciously start picking these things and filling our carts to try to incorporate into this new lifestyle, in this new culture, in this new country. And then suddenly our kitchen cabinets, they don't look like what it used to look in 30 years of our life. And here we are hit by the food shock. Now let me clear one thing here. I'm not saying that this culture is correct or that culture is wrong, but after living on one kind of food lifestyle for 30 years of your life, if one fine day you suddenly get up and you change your food plate completely, this definitely is going to take a toll on your body. You need to embrace the culture of this new country that you're moving to, but how, we will discuss in the last segment of this video. So make sure that you stay tuned till the end. So the next point is a no MRP shock. तो इंडिया में देयर इज़ एन MRP कॉन्सेप्ट, यानी कि कोई भी प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस इज सेम इन ऑल द शॉप्स. तो हमें MRP से कम जो शॉप्स में चीज़ें मिल जाती थी, जैसे डी मार्ट या कोई होलसेल ग्रोसरी स्टोर, तो हम लोग उन शॉप से हमारा ग्रोसरीज करना प्रेफर करते थे फॉर सस्ती शॉपिंग. बट इन कैनेडा यू डोंट हैव द MRP कॉन्सेप्ट, यानी कि कोई मिल्क का कार्टन अगर वॉलमार्ट में आपको $6 का मिल रहा है, so in another store you might find it for $10. So this no MRP concept makes a grocery shopping very complex. और हमें एक सस्ती ग्रोसरी शॉपिंग की आदत होती है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी स्टार्ट कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग क्वालिटी ओवर प्राइस. नाउ लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल. अगर आप अमूल ब्रांड का चीज़ प्रेफर करते हो इंडिया में, यू विल फाइंड दैट पैकेट फॉर अराउंड से 50 रुपीज़. और अगर डी मार्ट में आपको एक पैकेट 45 रुपीज़ में मिल रहा है, यू विल प्रेफर बाइंग इट फ्रॉम डी मार्ट. एंड देन हम जब यहाँ आते हैं, वी आर यूज्ड टू दैट सस्ती ग्रोसरी शॉपिंग, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी स्टार्ट पिकिंग अप थिंग्स दैट आर लीस्ट एक्सपेंसिव इन द aisle. Like for example, we start picking up cheese which is least expensive. We start picking up eggs that are least expensive. And then we start compromising quality over price. Now just take a step back and think about it. जब हम इंडिया में थे तब हम लो क्वालिटी ब्रांड के फूड प्रोडक्ट्स प्रेफर करते थे. दूध भी हम लोग एक पर्टिकुलर ब्रांड का पीते थे. आइसक्रीम में चीप क्वालिटी ब्रांड्स जिनका कभी नाम नहीं सुना है, we used to never buy those. एंड इवन चिकन एंड फिश एंड अदर मीट प्रोडक्ट्स हम लोग हमेशा फ्रेश कट ही प्रेफर करते थे. बट हियर सडनली वी आर पिकिंग अप प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम क्लियरेंस सेक्शन विच आर क्लोज टू एक्सपायरी. वी आर नॉट इवन गिविंग अस थॉट अबाउट पिकिंग अप ब्रांड्स विच आर चीपली प्राइस्ड. Why? Have you ever thought about it? Have you thought about a shift in this mentality and how we have started thinking this as normal? So I'm not saying that less price is equal to cheap quality or expensive brands is equal to high quality, but there is a right way to do that. We'll talk about this in our last segment. Next point is too many options. So this one is directly related to the no MRP concept that we discussed in our last point. So whenever you walk in a supermarket here or a grocery store, you will find so many options. Like even a छोटी सी छोटी चीज़ ले लो, जैसे टमाटर, you will find 4 varieties in it. Even like aloo, you will have 3 varieties. Even in onion, you will have 2-3 varieties. And we just don't understand what to pick. All these brands are so new to us, and then this Sasti shopping wala concept kicks in, and then we start just picking up the things which are least priced. Now we can't complain about options. उसी के लिए तो हम Canada move हुए हैं, for more options, for more opportunities, right? But how to win these options in the grocery field? We'll talk about this in the last section. The next topic in this segment is the most ignored one, but my favorite. It's the shift in the commercial and local culture. So in India, हमारा डे टू डे वेजिटेबल एंड फ्रूट शॉपिंग इज़ विद आवर लोकल वेंडर्स. जैसे आसपास का सब्जी वाला हो गया या फ्रूट वाला, या आसपास की सब्जी मंडी. दूध भी लाइक डेयरी से फ्रेश हमारे यहाँ पे सुबह डिलीवर हो जाता था. अंडे जैसे आसपास के स्टोर से आ जाते थे. मीट हो गया, वो भी आसपास के फ्रेश लोकल स्टोर से ही आता था. We used to go to these big commercial stores जैसे डी मार्ट to buy our dry ingredients, जैसे our grains, oils, then our pulses, etc. So when you come to Canada, the concept here is exactly opposite. The commercial big stores are used to shop our day-to-day vegetable, fruits, meat, dairy, and suddenly ये सारी चीज़ें हमारे local farmer markets या आसपास के सब्जी वालों से नहीं, बल्कि एक बड़े लॉजिस्टिक सप्लाई चेन के थ्रू हमारे पास पहुंचती है. And we don't realize that this is a very big change and this actually directly affects our health and nutrition. Now, kaise? We will discuss this in our next segment. So let's begin with our next segment. Now that we have discussed about the shifts and transitions that we go through, so how should be our approach towards each one of them? So the first one would be how to overcome the habitual shock. So the first thing that we need to do is accept that we don't have housemates here. We are so worried कि बिना maid के कैसे होगा and how are we going to manage everything, how are we going to cook 3 meals in a day and all sort of that things, that we start developing shortcut solutions towards that fear. The second solution is to follow the 2-hour rule. Make sure you allocate 2 hours from your schedule to cook your own meals. Initially, you can start with 1 hour in the evening to cook your dinner and then slowly start giving 1 hour in the morning whenever you start your day to cook your own breakfast and lunch. Firstly, you can try doing like 3 days in a week and then slowly increase the frequency. Third point, which is very important, is that we need to maintain a traditional way of cooking. Like जैसे हमारी मम्मी या दादी खाना बनाते थे वैसे. So our mom used to never do bulk cooking. She used to not make पूरा हफ्ते का खाना and put it in the freezer. She used to not buy cut vegetables या पूरे हफ्ते की सब्जियां एक साथ कट करके रख दी. No, right? Even most of our moms were working. They had like their 9 to 5, but they never did these sort of things. So even we should not develop these habits, because once we develop these habits, these are going to stay with us for next 5 years for sure. Also, the next important thing is that we need to maintain a heritage or cultural food. Like for example, जैसे बिरयानी हो गई, या I come from Maharashtra, so there is like bhakri, there is chutneys, there is puran puri and everything. So we need to learn these traditional foods and we need to keep them in our diet as per the seasons that we used to follow in India. And lastly, we need to let go of the thought कि India जाके घर का खाना खाएगी. We all have moved here, or some of you are planning to move here, to settle here, call this country as your home. So you need to make and you need to learn to make your घर का खाना here itself. So start developing those habits and start accepting the fact that you have to go through this transition. Let's discuss now how to overcome the food culture shock. How do you decide कि कितना Indian रखना है and कितना Canadian adopt करना है? So there's a very simple technique here. So this technique is not by me. It is from a well-known nutritionist, Rujuta Divekar, if you follow her. So there is a very simple technique. So there are 4 parts of your food that will come from your heritage. The first one are your millets and grains. जैसे बाजरा, वीट, ज्वार या मक्के का आटा या जो भी आपके ग्रेन्स हैं वो. The second one are your pulses, that is your like हरी मूंग, राजमा, छोले, मसूर, मटकी, जो भी आपके heritage से आता है वो. The third one is the oils. So this will highly differ from the region, that is from the state in India that you're coming from. जैसे महाराष्ट्र में usually we use groundnut oil ज़्यादा. Then there is sunflower oil, there is soybean oil. I know north में जैसे सरसों का तेल ज़्यादा यूज़ होता है. So all these oils should come from your heritage that you used to follow. The fourth one is the spices. तो जो भी आप spices पहले कुकिंग में यूज़ किया करते थे, जैसे हल्दी, गरम मसाला, धनिया पाउडर, जीरा पाउडर, जो भी, so all those will remain same. And thanks to the global logistic supply chain, all of these things are easily available here. Yes, you can find mustard oil, you can find groundnut oil, you can find sunflower oil, everything is available here. And the section of your food that should be more local are your vegetable, your fruits, your meat products, and your dairy. So all of this should be more local and not like what you used to have back in India. To make a point, the more locally you source your fruits, vegetables, meat, and your milk, the more better it is for your body. We'll discuss on how to source these ingredients more in our last section. So let's discuss how to win the Sasti shopping concept. So जैसे कि हमने first segment में देखा that we should not compromise quality over price. So let's simplify this by taking a very common example of milk. So India में आप एक particular type of milk prefer करते होगे, जैसे buffalo milk with more fat percent, या cow milk with less fat percent, या A2 milk जो non-Jersey cow milk होता है वो. So we need to try to maintain that same habit over here as well. जैसे इंडिया में आप अगर buffalo milk prefer करते होगे, so यहाँ पे go for a whole milk. Don't go for fancier options like skimmed milk. अगर इंडिया में आप A2 मिल्क प्रेफर करते होगे, so buy A2 milk over here. So don't make sudden changes to your diet because that will have a negative effect on your body. So now you will have a question that how do we maintain a monthly budget then? So let me give you an example. Like for us, we used to mostly prefer A2 milk back in India, and so we have adopted the same milk here as well. Even though this milk is like $2 to $3 more than the normal milk, but we are still preferring to buy that milk because that is what our bodies are used to by now. So what we do is that we check the price of the A2 milk in all the stores over here, and wherever we find this A2 milk the cheapest, we prefer buying it from that store. Not that we go to any store and just pick up the cheapest available milk. No, that is not how we do the Sasta shopping. So make sure that you're not doing Sasta shopping by compromising over the quality of the food that you were used to having back in India for 30 years of your life. And trust me, this doesn't burn a hole in your pocket. When it comes to shopping, buying expensive stuff, or like even having a dinner outside, we don't bother spending like $50 or $10 or $20 more. When it comes to grocery shopping, spending $2 to $3 more on a better quality of food item, we think about it a lot. And mind it, if you're not preferring nutritious item and saving that $10 to $20 a month in your budget, this is going to take a big toll on your body 5 years down the lane. So next we'll discuss how to win the battle of too many options. So let's take too many options in a positive way. Now that we have discussed how to decide how much Indian and how much Canadian, so let's say for example you want to buy oil. So now you're clear that oil will be the same one that you used to have back in India. So pick up the same oil from these grocery stores as well. So here commonly you will find is the canola oil and the vegetable oil. But that is not what you used to have in India. So pick up the groundnut oil or mustard oil or whatever oil you used to have before. When it comes to grains, you will find different variety of grains here like barley, oats and everything. But that is not what you used to have as part of your heritage. So you need to pick up the same grains that you used to have. That is your wheat, your bajra, jowar or whatever it is. And when it comes to fruits and vegetable, we need to pick up what is more local and not what is imported. Like for example, if you go to buy tomatoes, you will have 4 varieties of tomatoes. So one will be a product of Canada and the rest 3 of them will be imported like from Mexico or from any other country. So when it comes to vegetable and fruits, we pick up what is Canadian in nature. Also, as we discussed before, we need to follow our traditional ways of cooking. So our moms never picked up like cut vegetables from the market. So even we should not follow that. Vegetable and fruits which are pre-cut, they have less nutritional value because most of the vitamins are degradable in nature. So you lose all those vitamins when you buy cut fruits and vegetables. So try to purchase and make them as fresh as possible like our mummies and nannies used to do. And the last point is how to deal with the commercial and local concept which has become vice versa after coming to Canada. So it's obvious that if we shop everything local, then it's gonna burn a hole in the pocket because local is a little bit expensive than the commercial one. So we'll stick to the same rule that the 4 things that will come from a heritage, that is our grains, our spices, our oils and our pulses. These we will shop from the commercial stores because this has to come through the big logistic supply chain because this will be imported from India or any other country. The things that need to be more local in nature, that is your vegetable, your fruits, the meat products and the dairy, we need to shop them from more local markets and not from big superstores like Walmart and everything. So in the coming videos, we will be exploring more of the local Vancouver markets and bring them to you. So more of these local markets, they open in the summer times. I am really excited to explore them. Hope you will take these points seriously and give equal importance to your food and nutrition as well when you're planning your move from India to Canada. Also share this video with your friends and family who are planning to move to Canada soon or have moved recently if you care for them. So in the next video, I'll be taking you to the grocery stores. Not to show you कि यहाँ के grocery stores कैसे दिखते हैं या कौन से product का price कितना है. But I want to show you how to decide to pick up right things, what we discussed today, and don't do the mistakes that we did. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel to not miss on the next part. I am Aaliya and me and my husband Rahul, we moved to Vancouver in October 2022 on PR through Express Entry. By profession, I am a pharmacist working with a company and he's into sales. We would be making more videos for you guys on the different cities in Vancouver, the job prospects here, the food and the cultural lifestyles, and much more. So, subscribe to this channel to keep receiving updates from us. Until then, stay healthy so that you get more wealthy and more wise.
Yep.